Hello and welcome to another video and podcast from Fantasy Football Scout as we look ahead to Game Week 22. My name is Joe and today I'm going to reveal my team ahead of Game Week 22. This is coming up this weekend. We are in the midst of Game Week 21, so I'll see how I've been doing so far. Once again, it's a bench point special as it is every week. Annoyingly, none of my players seem to get injured, so it means that I've got good players on my bench every week, which is really annoying. Well, not as annoying as not owning them, I guess, but it's still pretty annoying. So what I'm going to do is have a look at that. I'm going to have a look at my fixture plans because we've had some changes. We've had a double game week announcement. We've got a bit more info about blank game weeks as well. And I've started to put my thoughts together about assistant manager chip as well, especially because I've already used my triple captaincy as well. Also, I will have a look at some cheap strikers. They could be important for those plans. And in addition, I'll reveal my team for Game Week 22 to sort of sum that up. And I've got a captaincy headache again, as I think most of us will. Okay, just a reminder, do press that like button. It really helps us out. And do leave us a 5-star review wherever you receive your podcast. Also, do remember to subscribe on YouTube and also wherever you receive your podcasts as well. Okay, let's have a look, see how I am getting on in Game Week 21. Well, I'm on a green arrow. It's a small one. So I've gone up to 235k. I'm on 30 points, which is 6 above the average. The game week ranks about 3 million so far. I'm expecting that to go down slightly. In terms of EO, I picked the right captain. In terms of hard, cold points, I didn't. So I captained Salah. I was going to go for Isak, but that flag scared me. You'll probably be watching this after Isak scores a hat-trick, so you think, what the hell were you doing? But nevertheless, I thought Salah, Isak and Palmer all had pros and cons with their fixtures. I thought that Salah, Nottingham Forest defence was great, but I thought Salah away was really good, really attacking, because also he was averaging, I think I posted some stats up, it's something like 5.8 big chances away on average. This is huge. And you can see in the last 5 minutes of the game, I mean, Liverpool were really going for it. I mean, Sells had a worldie again. So yeah, could easily have been a brace for Salah in the end, or at least, some return. Palmer was in my thoughts a bit, but it was really between Isak and Salah, so I can't be too begrudged that. Also, I'm 8 points down by captaining Salah over Palmer. Chris Wood on my bench. So basically, my benching headache was either Sarr, who's away to Leicester. I'd like that. Rodgers away to Everton. I actually quite like that. And Chris Wood at home to Liverpool. I just thought, he's not going to do it every week, will he? But nevertheless, I own him. And there we go. So I've got some of his points. I've missed some of them, but I've owned him throughout. So yeah, I've got Robinson's actually my star. A couple of assists. So he's got 8 points there. Alexander-Arnold blanked sadly, but he did, big chance to get an assist towards the end. Brian Mbomo blanked. Palmer got me 10 points. He was 111% effective ownership around my ranks. So that didn't harm me, but it didn't give me that gain. Mo Salah was 160% owned. So imagine if he'd have scored, that would have been a big dent for those that had captained Palmer. I've got Nicholas Jackson got me an assist, but also a yellow card. Also, he fluffed loads of chances. So this is the Nicholas Jackson that I avoided many times before. He's back. Annoyingly, he's not the fast, accurate, non-yellow card picking up one. Houston got me 0 points on my bench, which I was quite pleased with because he's been getting me a lot of bench points. I've got Mikolenko and Verbruggen to go, so to add to that bench score, Chris Wood's 9 points there. So I think that would have been Chris Wood or Rodgers or Sarr, so hopefully they can match him. But you'll watch this after that, so you can all laugh at me then. I've got Henderson, Gabriel, Sarr, Rodgers and Isak all to go. Isak is 105% effective ownership around me. And effective ownership, by the way, includes captaincy. So a number of people captaincy. So a big haul from him does not harm me. I've only got 5% of that against me there. Obviously doesn't benefit me, but it doesn't harm me. So I don't really care what he does, hat-trick or not. So yeah, I hope Sarr does well. I hope Rodgers does well. I hope Henderson gets me a clean sheet. I hope Gabriel gets a clean sheet. So fingers crossed there. As we'll look, we've got captaincy problems as well in the next game week. I usually look at the fixtures towards the end, but I'm going to bring that forward a bit because there's been some changes here, and it also explains why I'm interested in very cheap strikers. So I'll put the fixtures up on the screen here, and this shows, I've got it from Game Week 22 through to Game Week 29. I've sorted this by season difficulty using the Fantasy Football Scout members area. So it's a fixture difficulty rather. And this shows that Everton and Liverpool on top because, or largely because they've got this double game week in Game Week 24. So for me, that suddenly, as someone who's used the triple captaincy chip, it suddenly propels the assistant manager chip. I also like double game week 24, even if I had the triple captaincy chip for an assistant manager, because it straddles, it's quite long. There's a risk there. It's one of these sort of slightly split game weeks, and there's run the risk of that you could triple captain a player and then they don't get injured or something. So I don't know. There's those risks there. So I'm not too keen on that. I also like the fixtures for slot. So it's slot the one I'm really looking at here. Away to Bournemouth, away to Everton. I think there's chances of wins there. I think there's chances of goals. And so in a way, I don't. So once again, I don't care where the goals come from. So Gakpo could get a hat-trick and Salah could get nothing. And that doesn't bother me as much because, I mean, obviously, I'll probably captain Salah then, obviously. But it doesn't bother me as much because it's the team I'm interested in. I just want Liverpool to win. Don't care where the goals come from. Darwin Núñez could score them. I just want him to win. And then the assistant managership lasts for 3 game weeks. I love game week 25. They're at home to Wolves. Arguably, that's the key fixture there. You would captain Salah anyway, having slots points there. So hopefully there's lots of returns there. And then game week 26, they're away to Man City. I could keep it on slot, but I saved a transfer last week. My plan in game week 22 is to save another transfer. I've only really got one transfer in mind before I go for slot. And so I can move him in game week 26 to another manager. You get a bonus if there's a 5-place gap, I believe it is. So I may go for that. I may just go for something safe. So, for example, Arsenal at home to West Ham could go for the manager there. There is also the Bournemouth manager at home to Wolves. I could go for that one. Brighton away to Southampton. I could go for the Brighton manager. Or I could go for a sort of Hail Mary one. I think there's a 5-place gap between Manchester United and Everton. Maybe I'm over being optimistic about Manchester United there. But the other ones there, perhaps Ipswich are home to Tottenham. That could be a bit of a Hail Mary one there. So I think I prefer that. I've said on a number of videos, I kind of want this chip out of the way. I like this chip here because I know Liverpool got something to play for. And then if you leave it till later in the season, you can get a good return. I mean, last season, you got Crystal Palace. They had that amazing flurry at the end of the season, including that huge victory against Aston Villa, I think it was, on the final game. So, that would have been worth absolutely huge amount of points if you've used it then. But I think I'd prefer to use it then. I'd prefer to use the other double game weeks for bench boost, wild card, maybe free hit as well. Maybe I won't need to free hit in game week 29. Maybe I'll use it, the one in between the 2 double game weeks, which I think will be around game week 34-ish. So I might use it then. I might not be able to use it, not have to use it at all. I haven't really trebled up or doubled up too much on teams. I've kept myself quite flexible, annoyingly too flexible perhaps with those bench points as well. So it means that hopefully I won't have to use a free hit in a blank game week, and I can focus that on maximising a double game week coming up. But the double game weeks aren't going to be that huge this season, so we'll see. Anyway, so my plan this week, hold game week 23. I want to reassess Jackson. So he's already got me. He's got me an assist. He missed a flurry of chances. I'm going to be recording Goals Imminent soon with Mark Joblin. I'd be gobsmacked if Jackson doesn't feature in that because he had a whole bunch of chances that he fluffed. And he's against Wolves next, so I'm really hopeful of an attacking return there from him. Game week 23, he's away to Man City. So not as good. Also, he's at home to West Ham, so I don't know what state Potter's West Ham is going to be in by then. Could be a very good side by then. But I think I can. I've got frustrated with Jackson, so I can remove him. Also, I can remove him to a cheaper striker and get that 1.5 in the bank, and then I can afford to get slot in game week 24. No problem there. So Jackson's going to be my mate weight for slot. Always get him back at some other point, but I don't think Jackson's a season keeper. So yeah, I'll be use that. So the assistant manager chip, game week 24, keep that for game week 25 for that Wolves game. And then game week 26, you can, within the assistant manager chip, that 3-week block, you can change. So in game week 26, I'm going to change. And as I said, I'm looking at those other managers there. I could just keep. And then game week 27, 28, probably won't do that much. There's not much there. I think my team's fairly flexible. I might have to make some changes, but I should have some transfers saved up by then. I'm planning to use 1, 2, 3, 4. I could have 3 or 4 transfers saved up by this blank game week, in which case I can navigate that fairly easily with transfers if I need to. So the games that are potentially at risk, there's Tottenham are still involved. Forgive me, I haven't actually got this written down here. So yeah, Tottenham, Arsenal, Newcastle and Liverpool, all of their games could be at risk there. But obviously, the team at Newcastle and Tottenham are in the driving seat there, but you never know. They're all good sides. They could all overturn that. So any of those games could be off there. That could leave me in trouble. I don't know until we find out where we're at there. But I think, by game 24, 25, I'll have much more knowledge about that. So I'll better fill in those details there. Okay, let's have a look at a table of cheap strikers. So as I said, Jackson, I think I can move him on after Wolves. Hope he gets me a hat-trick against Wolves. Might even play, who knows. But I'm looking for a cheap striker. So he's 8 million. He's in fact 8.1 million, Jackson. Because of when I got him or whenever, him dropping 0.1 in value doesn't harm me. My selling price is 8 million for him. So I already have 0.3, I think, in the bank. So if I go down to sort of 6.5, 6.7 even, I can free up that 1.5. But there's actually a lot of strikers that are a bit cheaper than that. I can free up even more money as well. So I've listed them out here, the ones I'm particularly interested in. As I said, I'm because of my bench point situation, I'm not particularly going for, oh, wow, they've got a great run of fixtures. I'm quite happy to park whoever I get in. So someone like Strand Larsen could be quite good for me. I can park him during Wolves' tricky fixtures, and then he will play in game week 29. I can use him then. But anyway, I've got some other players here which will inevitably get me bench points or in my team, hopefully. Rissa is top. He's 6.2, frees up a lot of money. He's got 97 points. He's in a 10th of teams. That's not even effective. He's probably higher amongst engaged managers. Minutes per expected goal involvement, the best out of all of these, every 131 minutes. He's had 2 assists, 11 goals. Wow. Created 12 chances. His baseline bonuses every 12 minutes or so. He's had 20 shots on target, 35 shots inside the box. Started 17 pretty much, starts every game, barring injury. I really like him. Could go for him. I would go for any of these. Honestly, any of these strikers I would go for because they fill a job. Great first sub. Great 8th attacker. Next one, Jimenez, Fulham. He is their talisman. I did a piece on talisman last week. You'll see that. He's Fulham's talisman at the moment. It's 5.7. Free up even more money. 88 points. Ownership is in 13% of teams. Minutes per expected goal involvement. Not far off with 141 minutes. 2 assists, 8 goals. Great 10 chances. 45 shots inside the box. 22 on target. Absolutely great player to have. Very happy with him. Raul Jimenez. Vardy, I'd go for him either as well. 5.5. Leicester's fixtures. Leicester's form patchy. Leicester's fixtures patchy. Could be a perfect first sub for me. Um, 76 points. He's got his ownership. He's only in 6.4% of teams. Minutes per expected goal involvement every 174 minutes. So not as strong as the other two. 4 assists and 6 goals. So 10 attacking returns, 11 chances. I mean, he's about 104 years old as well. So incredible stuff. Minutes per baseline bonus. Not as strong as the other two. Every 16 minutes. He's had 27 shots inside the box, 12 on target. I think so far, Rissa and Jimenez will be the ones. A couple of Brighton lads next. Welbeck, he's back, or rather, he's back off the bench. Played 30 minutes in the cup. I'm recording this before the Ipswich game. Remains to be seen whether he'll play or do well in that. Like him as well, 5.5. Before he got injured, what a player. 69 points there. Because he's only on 13 starts because of injury in recent weeks. His ownership is only 6% teams now. Minutes per expected goal involvement every 184 minutes. A couple of assists, 6 goals, correct, 12 chances. 24 shots inside the box, 13 on target. Very strong. Pedro as well on penalties. He's only 5.7. He's in 16% of teams, a bit better owned. 192 minutes. He is the minutes per baseline bonus point magnet. Every 7.8 minutes, he's getting a baseline bonus, which is the metric used to calculate bonus points at the end of each match. He's got 5 goals, 5 assists. He does have a penalty now as well. Created 17 chances, 17 shots inside the box as well, 10 on target. Very strong option there. Delap. I think last week I said Rory Delap. Obviously, he's not. It's Liam Delap for Ipswich, 5.6. I'd like him as well. 80 points he's on. Ownership, what a differential, 3.6. Minutes per expected goal involvement, not as strong. Every 200 minutes. Couple of assists, 8 goals, 25 shots inside the box. It's Ipswich really don't create that many chances. They are getting better. They're the best of the promoted sides, I think. Certainly to watch in terms of defence and attack. Well, no, not in terms of attack, as in the quantity, but they've got quality there, put it that way. I'm very, very interested in any of these. Hold for Game Week 23. 24, hold for Game Week 22. Game Week 23 is when I'll be looking to move Jackson onto one of these to free up a bit of cash and set me up for that assistant manager chip as well. Everyone will have different ways of playing that. I spoke on the FPL Generals video about the assistant manager chip. So I think the best way to look at it is your own attitude to risk and the way you play the game. I'm very risk averse. I play the game in quite a safe way. Safe for me, get the best manager from the best team with a good set of fixtures, including a double game week, and the option to be a bit of a Dullardino in game week 26 within that. That suits my style there. Tiny bit of risk, but mainly safe. Other people will think I'm gonna get a Crystal Palace from last season, last 3 games of the season. I'm going for that. I'm going to get 60 points out of this assistant manager chip. If I can get 20 or 25, 30, I'll be quite happy. But if there's huge gains to be had, absolutely huge gains to be had. And you'll see people who are very risky managers either fall flat at the end or go, wow, how are they suddenly in the lead of my mini league? And that's how powerful that chip is. Okay. So here is my Game Week 22 team reveal. I've got pictures of Palmer and Salah in there because it's the captaincy, really. I wasn't so set on Palmer. I know he did get the 10 points, but I thought Bournemouth played well. I think even on hindsight, I don't think there was a marked difference between Palmer and Salah's captaincy last week in Game Week 21. Even though obviously there was a difference in points, 8 points difference between the two. But I thought Salah was still a good option. Same with this week. I think Salah is a great option away to Brentford. I think Palmer is a better option this week at home to Wolves, as in better than he was last week. So that is a real consideration for me. Currently, it's on Salah, vice captain on Palmer. That will change from throughout the next few days. And I'm going to I wasn't kicking myself about not captaining Palmer last week in Game Week 21 because Salah was the one I was really going for. And you feel, if you go for the one you really want. But this one, I don't know at the moment. That's going to change. So I'll see how I go. I'll investigate Wolves' defence a bit more. Maybe I'll be overthinking it. But I just think Salah's going to score away to Brentford. I think Palmer's going to score home to Wolves. So Isak at home to Bournemouth. I think this time around, because we got a bit more knowledge about Bournemouth, I think Isak's not as good an option. I'm happy to own him, though. So this is my team. Got Henderson over Verbruggen. Henderson's away to West Ham. I think that's better than away to Manchester United. Robinson, the assist machine, away to Leicester. Yep, I'll play him. Gabriel at home to Aston Villa. And Alexander-Arnold away to Brentford. I've got to play all of them because Hewson away to Newcastle. Mikolenko at home to Tottenham. I don't think are as strong as them. So hopefully my bench won't get too many points. Brian and Bomo are home to Liverpool. I've got to play him just in case. Like with Chris Wood, I should play Chris Wood maybe. But you just got to play good players irrespective. Palmer, as I said, is definitely a captaincy consideration, as is Salah. And Sarr, I've still got the other one. I've still got in my midfield. He's away to West Ham. Let's see how he goes. At some point I might want to move him on. But at the moment, I like the Crystal Palace stack. I like his role in it. I like to see more points. But I've only had him for a couple of weeks. He's a cheap player there, and I think he's a better option than Rodgers. Rodgers is away to Arsenal, Sarr away to West Ham. I think I'm playing Sarr over Rodgers. That's the decision I got there. Chris Wood, there's no decision this week because he's at home to Southampton. It's an easy tie at home, so he's playing. He'll probably get a blank for this, but nevertheless, I'm going to play him. Isak at home to Bournemouth, great. Nicholas Jackson at home to Wolves. I really like that attack this week. So yeah, I feel it's in a strong position. Hopefully I won't get too many bench points again. I think I'm on well over 200 bench points for the season so far. And I think when I talking to the FPL General about it, he was on about 90, I think. So I think he was even less than that. Yeah, he's got Chiwomi in his side that he benches every week because he never plays. Chiwomi plays for Wolves apparently, but never plays. So he's nestled in on the bench, which enables him to play Chris Wood every week. He hasn't got Rodgers anymore, but whoever his cheap midfielders are, he can play. Whereas I'm benching them rather annoyingly because I don't have a Chiwomi. I've got Jackson, Isak, Wood. I really like that. Wood, Isak. The final thought: Wood, Isak, Nicholas Jackson spells out win. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed for you as well, watching and listening. Thanks a lot for joining me. Good luck in the game week. Take care. See you soon.